So today I will be discussing about the bean sampler. So if you look at my last class in which I have discussed about the regression expression and how we can extract some string from the body. So in my last example, if you again I'm repeating it, what I was doing, I was sending the request to rminfotechsolutions.com, and in response I was getting some body, and from body I was using this regression expression extractor. After this request is completed from the body, I was extracting the link, and then what I was doing, I was passing this link in my path. Okay, so here what I was doing, here I was extracting the link in the link variable, and then I was passing it in the next request. Okay, so in my last example, if you remember, what I had done, I had created this user defined variable count, okay, which I initialized with 1, and I've started the while loop controller here. And in while loop controller, we have specified one script. So we have written one script where I have written that I am getting the count variable, and then I was adding 1, and then again I was putting it inside the count variable. And here I have written this condition: when count is less than equal to 10, so we have to keep on running this code again and again. And in my regression expression extractor, I have used this count variable over here. Now in my, why I have repeated this again is because in my last class we have used certain coding over here where we have written vrs, vars, put. So what is this? This is a bean sampler. So this is what I will be discussing today. What is a bean sampler? Now if I go and look at the JMeter API, okay, look, this is the JMeter API. Okay, I am just giving you only for your understanding. As I discussed before, that JMeter application is designed by using the Java. So basically, it uses the Java code only. It uses the Java library only. Okay. So in this API, for example, if I go to one JMeter context, if I write in search JMeter context, okay, so you will get this JMeter context over here. So here, what is this JMeter context? JMeter context is a class. Okay. So what is this JMeter context? JMeter context is a class, and it has certain methods in it. So if you look at this method, for example, get previous result. If I want to get the result of the previous request, get current sampler, that is which request is currently running, I want to get that, get current sampler. Okay. Or for example, get thread, yeah, I want to get some variable. So these are some methods, like in Java we have discussed, in Selenium, in APM we have discussed that there are predefined classes and predefined method, that is called API library. Similarly over here there is a library. Now if I go to this, for example, uh, get variables, okay, so it is returning JMeter variables. Again if I go click over JMeter variables, so I am getting that JMeter variables is a class again. Okay, and here I have certain method like get method, which returns the string, and put method, which is adding the string value. Okay, so now if I come back to my program over here in my JMeter, so here if you see there, when I've written this script here, so it is using some predefined variables. है ना. Here it is written script variables like ctx, vars, props, okay, prev, log, okay, sampler, okay, file name. So these are, what is this? These are predefined objects. Okay, if you see over here again, if I go to this library, uh, if I again go to this library, so here there was a class I just shown to you, context class. Okay, and context class has this method. For example, get uh, say get current sampler, for example, here this one, get current sampler. So if I write over here ctx, ctx, so ctx is a predefined variable of context, and if I write dot get current sampler, so what it will do, it will call this method from this library. Okay, get current sampler, and and will return the sampler object. Okay, so what I can do, I can store it inside one variable sampler, for example, same like I was doing in Java. If you look over here, there is one variable I was using was vars. Now what is this vars? Again, if you see, this was my class. JMeter variables was class. Now its object is vars. It is a predefined object, and get returns the string, and put adds the value to the string. Again, if you look at this, so I was using get to get the data from the variable, and I was using put to put the data to the variable. Okay, so basically we are using basically Java code to uh, get some thread reference, and from the thread reference I want to get some data, or I want to put some data. I can use this JMeter API. Okay, now for understanding I will be making one or two programs for the better understanding of this concept. Okay, so now for example, again I'm creating a new test plan. Okay, and in this test plan, again what I will do, I will add one user thread, and then inside the user thread I will add one. Now I am not adding HTTP request right now. Okay, instead of that I am adding one bean shell sampler here. See? I am adding one bean shell sampler. So what is this bean shell sampler? It is where I can write my JMeter script, but JMeter script is generally a little similar to the Java code only. Okay, so here again, if you see, it uses the some predefined variables. Okay, but for example, I am writing one code like import java dot util dot star. Same code like I was writing in Java. Import java dot util dot star. But here we do not write public class ABC. We do not write public static void main. Okay, instead of that, we can directly write my Java code, but all the Java code must be inside try and catch block. So I'm writing one try block, and Okay, try block and catch. Okay, and I can just write system.err dot println e dot get message. Okay, so just like a Java application, I'm using try and catch block, and here I have written the error message if there is any error. Now inside the try block, what I'm doing, I'm again giving one prompt, system.out.println, for example, enter name, like this. And I'm using this scanner, java.util.scanner. I can import directly java.util.scanner. And here I am creating the scanner class object. It means we are just writing simple Java code. Scanner SE new scanner system.in. It's a demonstrative example only for the understanding that what is a bean sampler basically and what code I can write over here. Scanner SC is equal to new scanner, and now again I'm making one variable, string n is equals to sc dot next. Okay, and if you want to print this name, so again I am writing system dot out dot println from where it will read when we run this GUI application. So you get this CMD also over here. If I want to print something, it will print on this console, this one. Similarly, for example, I write over here say enter age, and again int a is equals to sc dot next int. Okay. Enter age sc dot next int. Now I will run it. Okay, if you want to add the listener, you can add the listener. Okay, and now I will execute and check whether it works or not. So basically bean sampler is where I can write my script, and it uses the basically Java library only, or you can use the JMeter. Like in Java, I was adding the APM library, and in a Java program I can use the APM classes, okay, or Selenium classes. So similarly, we can use the APM context also. That also I will use. So first of all, I'll run it and check it. So if I run it over here, I am not saving it right now. So I'll click on no. And if you see on the console here, it is asking the enter age. I write 21. Now it is printing the age over here. Enter name. I am entering the name and it is entering the name. Okay, so it has been successfully executed. This is the code request I have made. Okay, and this is the response data. The response as such, it is not coming as such because I'm just printing on the console. So now here only, if I want to use certain if and else condition, so if I write if and n same library dot equals, if I have entered RAM, and because a is a number, so same thing Java. In Java, we compare the string by using equals, and we compare the numeric by say greater than equal to 20. So if condition, say hello, else so it means you can use all the control and operators over here. Similarly, for example, again if I write while loop, while int say x is equals to 1, x is less than equal to say 10, and x plus plus x. Okay, same thing you can use with the while also. Say int o is equals to 1 while o is less than equal to 10, while loop. So for loop, while loop, if loop, everything is working.
बट ये यूजर के इनपुट के लिए ट्राई करेंगे ना, और स्कैनर का
ये किसी के लिए भी यूज कर सकते हैं. मैं तो आपको what I'm trying to tell you is that you can write any Java code over here, and also
नहीं, बीन स्टेटर और सैम्पलर की यूज करेंगे हम लोग.
if you want to integrate Selenium code or APM code with the JMeter,
Okay.
then you can also write some you can call the Java program in JMeter also to test. Okay, so basically or you are extracting some body and you want to use some logic, Java logic into it, like a string tokenizer you want to use. Okay, or you want to use any other Java library also to write some code for assertion, etc. So you can use this bean sampler. Baki I will use in some examples, so you'll come to know. So I'm just basically I'm trying to tell you that in the bean sampler, it's not like that you can use Java scanner only. You can use any of the library. You can use for example, in the same example I will show one two more things. Okay, you can write this. You can write the Selenium code also and test it. For example, if I go to the test plan here, in test plan, here you can add the jar file. You see, here it is written add directory or jar to the class path here, and you can add the any jar file like an Selenium jar file or any other library jar file, and then you can import it and use it over here also. So in our future classes, when I will be integrating web application or a mobile application, then you will be seeing that I can also add some other libraries also here, and I can import and use it in my JMeter also. Okay, so I'm running it. So it will take it from the here. Now if one more thing, now if there is a error here, error is coming, some error is coming. Okay, so how will you come to know what is the error? Okay, here it is, error is not displayed here. Okay, and here it has failed, but why it has failed? There is no nothing is coming. Okay, so there is one thing, like here, if I go to the option log viewer, and if I click on this log viewer, so here you will get the log viewer here. From the options, click on the log viewer. Okay, and from the log viewer, here we can check what is the error. Error in invoking method execl in file inline execution of import java.util.scanner try encountered int x. Look here. Here I am getting the error message. Encountered int x at line number 29, column number 9. Okay. So, so basically, when you are the one more important thing, when you are running a JMeter application, and if it is not running, it is failing. So how will you get what is the error coming? So from options, if you select the log viewer, so it will give you the log, and from the log you can identify the error message. And if you want to remove the log, click on it, it will be removed. Okay. So let me see. I think I've made some mistake over here. Scanner is fine, A is fine, O is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Okay, this is fine. Okay, here I think it is giving some error. Int x is equals to 1. Why? Okay, I have written while over here, but it should be for. That was the mistake. Okay, when we write this, so we use for. So I was using while loop, but here we require the for loop. So that's why it was giving the error in x. Okay, so that was the mistake. So you can check from the log file here, and you will come to know what is the exactly error message in a bean sampler file. So the mistake was here. I was writing while loop, but it should be for loop. Okay. Now let me try it one more time. Okay. Abhi, so it is still working. It means red. Stop is red. So it means it is still working. Now it is asking me the enter age. So I'm entering the age 45. Enter name. Say I'm entering the name Ram. Okay. So here it is now printing the if condition, because I've entered the age 45 and name Ram. Hello. And now for loop and while loop both are working. Okay. Now one more thing. For example, now one more thing. For example, I am opening my Eclipse. So in the meantime, it is opening. So I will give you some other things also. Now, when we are talking about the bean sampler, so what we can do, we can write this bean sampler uh, in pre-request and post-request also. Okay. So if I want to remove it, or I'll just copy it, whatever it is, I'll just copy it, Control C. Okay. And if I remove it, so when we are adding some request, for example, I add some HTTP request, and in HTTP request I had said www say, okay, and I said. So now what happens when we make a request? So I want to handle certain request body or request header. So what I can do, I can right click on this, on the request, on the HTTP request, and there are two things: add pre-processor and post-processor. Post-processor means we have uh, made the request, and after request is made, then I want to get certain things. In post processor, we can extract the JSON file, CSS selector we can use to when get the data, or we can use XPath extractor to extract some data from the response body, or here with it is written bean shell post processor. So if I select this bean shell post processor, so it means I want to write some code. So same code which you are writing in bean sampler is added in from the thread group here. So I added the sampler bean sampler from here. Here. Similarly, in the request, you can add the pre-processor bean shell bean processor or post processor bean shell post processor. So I have selected post processor, and here also you can write the same code for them. So now what will happen? This code will be executed after this request is made, and whatever is you have written over here will get executed. Okay. So now, for example, again if I run it, so what will happen? This will execute, and then after its execution, this will execute. Okay. So I'm again running it. Oh, sorry. You see, now enter age. When enter age has come after the just a second. Enter age, say. Okay. So now as condition buy is coming, and same script is executing, and this request is executed from here. Okay. And after that request, this has been executed. Now in the same example, in the post processor, what I'm doing, I'm not writing this Java code, not the important thing. I'm removing it. I'm removing this code. And now I'm using the JMeter library. And in JMeter library, I'm writing ctx dot get current sampler. This was the method I've just discussed with you. Okay. And I will store it in one variable sampler is equals to. And now I'm not writing system.out.println. Instead I can write just print. And sampler. Okay. And if I run this again, So it will print it on this only. But here I am not using the uh, complete class object. It is a predefined object CTX and get current sampler, and I'm printing it. Let us see. You see, it has printed. The current sampler is this one, rminfotechsolutions.com. Now, for example, I am using uh, VARS dot. If I write over here one more thing, if I write here like I was writing is in previously I was writing string n is equal to string, int a is equal to int. Okay, but here I'm not writing string or int. I'm using var, var is a simple variable of any type. If I write var x is equals to 21, for example, like this, and if I print the value of x, okay, x, let us see whether is this equal to operator works or not. Now, if I'm using var and I'm using equal to assignment operator and assigning the value to x and printing it, will it work? Let us see. So again, I will clear it and I will run it. So you see over here, it is calling the value of x as 21. It is adding the x value to 21. Now, if again I write VARS, or I just write VARY is equals to double quotes, say Amit. Okay, and again if I print y plus y, so what it will do? Again it will print me the value of y. Okay, now what I want to do, for example, I want to add this x value and y value and send it to the another request. So again there is a one and my variable VARS. So I will use VARS dot put, and I'm giving the name of the variable. Say I will give the name of the variable, say age, and in age comma I am adding the value of x, and VARS dot again put, and I give the variable name, say name, and add the value y. So what is happening in VARS put? Only string type of the data is added. I've just shown you the library. So it was saying string comma string. So but if I'm adding the value of uh, x as a number without double quotes. So will it work or not? Okay. So now I have added it. So now post processor has added this thing. So what I will do, instead of post processor, I will add these values before the request. So I will go to HTTP request, add a preprocessor, bean shell preprocessor, and I will copy this to preprocessor. Okay, and preprocessor I will keep it before post processor. Okay. Baki, even if you do not write before, then also it will call, because pre will always be called before this request is made. Okay, and post processor means when the request has been made. Okay, so in my post processor, what I will do, I want to get this value, name and age. So in post processor, I will write again vars dot get, and the variable name, and I will add it to variable, and again I will get vars dot get variable name age, but it will give me the error. That's what I'm showing you, and I will add it in var AA, for example. And here I will write the message that it is post. Okay, post request. And if I, in the pre-request also, if I use context to check whether any sample it is calling or not, ctx dot get current sampler. Okay, so now if I run it one more time, okay, it is not running. Okay, this is not running basically. And if I look at my log message, so here you see there is an error. It will not show. Here it is showing it as a pass. Okay, but here it is not working. Okay, in request, when we are sending the request, it is not showing it as a pass or fail, because the URL is called, but this bean request sampler is not working. So for that I have to go to the log and check. So you can check over here, this script is not working, error. Why? Because I have included the int instead of a string. So it was put string and string, but it is int. Again go to options, log viewer, close, and again if I go to the pre-processor request, and uh, I convert this X to string because it is taking the string only. So I can write Y or integer dot to string Y. Like if you remember this is the wrapper class integer dot to string also you can work, or as or write and a dot to string also you can write. Like if you remember in my while loop controller, if you go to that example, there I was writing as int to convert to the int, and I was writing to string to convert to the string. So same thing you can do over here, that it is you are converting it to string, and I will store it say in var yy, and I will add not in sorry it is x, int is x, so I will write not here, here x x. Okay, so now this is converted to the string, and I've added the string, and in post when I will get the age, it will return the string. So get is also always returns the string type of the data. Okay, so now it is working. So you can see in pre I am getting this, that is this is the sampler before calling the request, this is the post request, same sampler it is calling, and x value and y value I have not printed in post, I think I have not printed it, so I will print it over here. Print, I write post name age okay. So pre is called here, then it has set this value, and again in the post it is calling the data which I have added, and now it is getting name and age. Now but there is a problem that it VARS variable, okay, VARS variable uses string object only. It adds the data in the string format and gets the data in the string format only. But if I want to add some character or some boolean value or some in a class type of the object, then in that case or some integer data, in that case it will not work. So there is another variable called PROPS, this one. Okay, so so this is also a variable PROPS, but it can store any type of the data. So for example, if I go to the preprocessor request, and uh, instead of this is an integer value only, I'm printing it, then again string type of the value I'm printing it, but I'm not converting it now. Instead of VARS, if I use PROPS, another variable, so it is also a variable object. The difference between VARS and PROPS is that in VARS only string type of the data is added and retrieved, Whereas in PROPS, you can add any kind of the data, boolean or numeric or a character or a string or class type of the object also. So we should use PROPS for the better result. Okay, so I'm again using PROPS dot put. So now here I'm adding the numeric value only. I'm not converting, so I write X. So it means it is numeric value can be added also, and string value can be added. So again I can write PROPS. These are all predefined objects coming from the JMeter library. And you can also add, for example, if you want to use some string method. So JMeter does not provide any string method, for example. है ना? So for that you have to use the Java library. So you can also use the Java library. That was the first thing I just shown you. Okay. So in JMeter you will get only JMeter library. But if you want to use some Java library or some Selenium library or some any other library like an LOR report library, you want to use the some methods, so you can also write those Java methods over here. And if you want to add certain jar file, so you can add the jar file here also, and then you can use that class. Like I in my Eclipse editor, I was adding the dependency, or I was adding the external jar file in the class path. Then only I can import that particular library and use it. Similarly over here, JMeter library is inbuilt, Java library is inbuilt, that you can use directly to write any code. But if you want to use some other library also, you can add it and you can write the code. Now continuing with the example. So in pre, I have used PROPS, and again in post, I can use instead of VRES, because VRES.get will always return a string type of the data. So again it will give me the error because it is numeric. So I can use PROPS. 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 Okay. So now I will run it one more time. So it is working. It is giving me the result again. In the post, for example, to check whether it is numeric or not, if I write if n is equal to ram, so as we have discussed in core Java, that we should compare the string by using equals, but here I'm using double equal to, and a, for example, again I'm using with a, for example, I use dot equals. So in PROPS, it will return the data of int type. If I was using VRES, then what I had done, I had converted it to the string, and I added the string object only, and I was getting the string only. So a was a string, not int. Then we have to again convert it to the int to use it. Okay, but in PROPS we can use any kind of the data we can add. But I'm for the demonstration I'm just writing that if I use double equals to with it and equals with it to check whether it is numeric or not, say 21. So I have data here Amit and 21. I will check Amit and 21. Amit and 21. So I'll say print pass This is the bean sampler. Writing this code is very important because when you will be working later and you want to integrate some API in JMeter, you want to integrate some Selenium code with API or in JMeter, or you want to add some cookie object. That is, from the first request, I want to get the cookie, and then I want to add that cookie in the second request, for example, because I'm working on a same page. For example, I'm logging in on a website, a cookie object is generated, and I want to use that cookie object to do the shopping. So there we have to write this thing. Okay. And sometimes people ask, sir, last class we have done regression expression extractor. So one more important thing, regression expression extractor will extract the data from the response body and or response header. Okay, but here we can write any code, we can use any library. There we were not writing any code, we were not writing any if else condition, etc. But here we can write any kind of a code. Okay, so this gives me the more wider scope to test the application. There I was just writing the uh, regression expression, and I was extracting the data from the header or the body. That's all I can do. But here I can write any code. So again, this will give me the error because here this is a string type of the data. I'm using double equal to. This is numeric type of data. I'm using dot equals. So it will not work. But error will not be shown. Okay. Error will not show over here. Here, error will not show. And because this request is going on, this page is visited. So this will also show it as a pass. Okay. No error is coming. Here also no error, but you can check it from here, log viewer. Or there is one more thing called debugging. So we can use the debugger sampler, that also we'll discuss later on in our other classes. So you can check from here that it is giving me the some exception, error handling in that case. Okay, so you can check from here what is the error message, what is the error coming. So again, if I go to the post processor, so what you can do is string you have to compare always by using dot equals. And numeric value will always complete by using double equal to. Okay, so if this dot equals this and a is double equal to 21, then pass, or else fail. Okay, so now it is giving me fail. So now if I go to the Eclipse, one more thing, if I go to the Eclipse and I will go to my some Java project, say this is a weekend Java, just core Java application SRC. Okay, so now this is a weekend Java where I have just created some Java program. Okay, like array program I have created over here, or I have created some home.java, say simple home, and I have created some method over here like this. Okay, so if I call this home.java, if I call this if I execute this So I'm executing this home.java from my where from my Eclipse editor. Okay, but for example, I want to call this home.java. This is the Java program, but I want to call it from where? From the JMeter. Okay, how to do it? Let us see. Go to your project folder. Okay, any project folder, say weekend Java 2, I say. Okay, right click on it and write uh, export any project, whether it is your an Android project is there, again you can right click and then you can write export. So you can export Selenium project or JMeter project and Cucumber project, any project, whatever it is, there is one option called export. Okay, so I'm just exporting simple Java project only, in which I've just written simple Java program. Okay, so I'll just right click and export. And how do you want to export it? As a jar file, jar file. Next, and where do you want to export this jar file? So you can give the path. Say I want to export this. It is better if you give the same name as project name. Weekend Java 2.jar. Okay, the same project name, Weekend Java 2.jar, and finish. So it will extract this particular project and all the library to the jar file. Okay, and now from your test plan, okay, go to the test plan and from there add the jar file. Browse. I've just extracted in my D drive. This was the jar file, this one, and you can add it. So this will be added. And now when it is added jar file, then what you can do here, if you see, I have created this com package, and in com package I have this class home. So what I can do, for example, in my post processor, for example, I want to call this particular class. Okay, so write try block and constructor of the class home h is equals to new home, and from where this home class is coming, it is coming from the com package com. So just write import com dot home like this. So it means what you have done, you have added this project to the JMeter as a jar file. Now this is added as a library, and all the things which you have written inside it, you can now call it from the bean sampler like this. You can import it and simply call this like here. We have written home from the Eclipse, like I've written, and I written home, new home, and dot kitchen. So now I'm calling it from this h dot kitchen. Okay, and write the catch. Exception. Okay. So in that way, you can call any project and can call the uh, any class which you have written outside the JMeter, and you can execute it also. You see, cooking cake. So it means here the method which was executed is cake 2. So it is calling this method cooking cake. Cooking cake. So I have added this particular project into the jar, extracted it and added this jar file over. So you can add the Selenium jar file also over here. You can browse and you can add any jar file which you have downloaded on your system. Test ng jar file or an Maven jar file, any jar file you can add. All these things will demonstrate when in the upcoming class, and then it will be added as a library which you can simply import and use it. And what is the meaning of pre-processor and post-processor, that also I think you have understood. And what is this CTX object, VARS object, PROPS object, means pre-request, request which has handled. Okay, data and log. For, for example, again, uh, if I go to,
यहाँ पे कितनी लाइब्रेरी यूज हुई वो कैसे समझेंगे, मतलब वहाँ पे कुछ एक
बहुत
ही
सारी लाइब्रेरी यूज कर सकते हैं
नहीं,
जो मैंने
वहाँ पे तो एक ही शो हो रहा है ना, इसके लिए
हम्म
ऐड करेंगे तो मतलब शेड्यूल में कैसे दिखता है ना कि कितना लाइब्रेरी ऐड हुआ है, तो जेमीटर में कितना कैसे समझेगा। हाँ वहाँ पे,
लाइब्रेरी कौन सी ऐड करो, मतलब ये यहाँ पर आप जो
हाँ यहाँ
ऐड
पे
करोगे
एक
ये
ही दिख
नीचे
रही है
लगा
ना,
हुआ
तो अगर ज्यादा रहेगी तो कैसे
है।
इसके
ज्यादा भी
आसपास
कर
पाँच
सकते
होंगे।
हैं, ज्यादा भी करिए। देखिए, इफ आई गो टू ब्राउज अगेन and you want to add, for example, some library, say again I will go to C, I will go to users, Parag Saxena, I will go to Eclipse space, workspace, I will go to this Selenium project, because I have added this, and Selenium project, settings, bin, uh, first of all, let me check where is a library, because on my system I will download some. For example, selenium.dev downloads. I will download this Selenium library. Okay, it has been downloaded. Okay, now it has been downloaded. Again, what I will do? I will go to this test plan, browse, go to the downloads, recent desktop, downloads, and this is the jar file I've just downloaded. Okay, this one. Just add it. So it is added.
ओके, ऐसे लाइन वाइज दिखता है। ओके ओके, जैसे लाइन वाइज नीचे दिखता है कितना लाइब्रेरी ऐड हुआ।
And now when you've downloaded, you can go to the, say, in a post processor or pre-processor, whatever you want to do with that. Before handling this request, I want to, for example, open the browser. So now
ओके
you can just import org.openqa.selenium.chrome driver. Like I was importing import java.scanner, util.scanner. That was coming from Java. Now you have added the Selenium jar file. So you can use the, now you can import the Selenium jar file also, the library also, org.openqr.selenium.chrome driver. And again, whatever code you have to write inside the try and catch, that is compulsory. And if I write Chrome driver C is equals to new Chrome driver, I was writing scanner S is equal to new scanner. So it was, I'm writing Chrome C is equal to new Chrome, and C dot get https www.rminfotechsolutions.com. Okay, and catch exception. Okay, so in that way you can write any. So now if I again file, save, and run it, so you see browser, it has called the Selenium library. Now Chrome browser is opening, and now what is the, it is not doing the functional testing, but you can write the code, but basically it is generally used, it is a demonstration only basically, but it is generally used for the load testing basically, you know. So what you could, what
Yes.
you have to do, if you want to say from here in HTTP in test group, you saying that this one person is calling this page 2 times now. So this is the thing. If I again close it, now one person is calling this page 2 times. So it means this request will be called 2 times, and pre-request will be called 2 times. That is how you can test. Now if I run it one more time, now it is executing 2 times, and now you can monitor the response, how much load time it is taking, how much data it is coming. So if you, so basically a demonstrative basically about the, what is the meaning of bean sampler pre-request, post request sampler, what is the meaning of that thing. Okay,
Okay.
and you can call any Java library, any Java code from this thing. Okay,
Okay.
any mobile application also you can call. Okay, one
Hmm.
more thing. uh,
मेरा भी एडमिन पैनल है जो दिखा दिखा सकता हूँ क्या?
नहीं अभी रुकिए. Now again if I go to JMeter API, so you can search JMeter API, because we do not remember all the methods, all the things, na? So what you can do, you can go to the JMeter API, and this is the link.
ओवरव्यू.
This is the JMeter API. Okay, and from there you can search JMeter. Sub topmost is the context, and from the JMeter context, then if for example I want to get the get current sampler, get engine, get previous result, get previous sampler, get properties, get sampler context, get text, get thread. Okay, get variable. So I will say for example use this method of of get thread, for example. Get current sampler I've used, for example get thread. So I will say get thread, ctx dot get thread, and get thread is returning the thread object, JMeter thread. Again, if I want to check what is it returning, click on it, JMeter thread. You
Okay.
will see that this is again a class. And if you look at these method, so you can check like get end time. That is, what is the end time of this thing? What is the start time of this thread? So, so for the validation purpose, so you can also get other things also, है ना? Like get or an get thread name. Okay, whether it was interrupt or not, it returns true or false. Whether this thread was, so you can do this validation, assertions, etc. Na? Validation that this request has been made, whether it was interrupt, boolean, true or false. So these are the methods. So you can try these methods. For example, I'll just write get start time.
Okay.
So I'll just write get start time. Controls. So so this thread, I want to get the thread name, for example. So the get thread will return the thread object. So I will write var th is equals to like a Java only, and then th dot get start time will give me the time in the long. So what we write, we just write where start time. Okay, and go to the library. For example, I want to get the end time and the thread name. Thread name will return the integer string. Sorry, end time. Okay, say where end time is equals to th dot get end time and say name, get thread name. Where thread name. Okay, so this request is called two times, means two threads are there. Okay, so this sampler means up, this is the sampler, means with this one request sampler. Okay, and this request sampler I have written over here, it is called two times, or two person are calling, for example, say two person are calling two times, for example. So it means four times, four times it is called, है ना? So in post processor, now I'll print it. Then a problem that this was get thread name, get start time, get end time was not coming. The reason behind it was that if you look at this example previously, so I was here, it was misspelled. Instead of where, I have written VAT, because of which it was giving me the error. So later on when I looked into it, so I come to know that after we have created get thread and we have created the thread object, get thread name was giving me the error message. It was not printing the thread name. The reason behind it was that I was using the VAT instead of VAR. So that was only problem. So now if I execute this again, to check. So you will see that now I'm printing thread name, so it will get printed. So I'm just running this one time. It will print on this window. So you see thread name is now coming. Two threads are running, one of one, one of two. Start time and the end time. So it is now printing. So this is working. So in the previous example, it was not printing. So that was the only small mistake I was making. Okay.